Let's talk about Republicans railing against the UN and the World Health Organization. Just real quick, I'm only going to spend about 10 minutes on this. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
Well, thank you for being here today for our press conference on what I describe as the most important issue that's getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance in our country. And like many other issues, we're going to be deciding on November 5 what kind of a country we're going to be, and it applies to this issue as well. President Trump had withdrawn the U.S. from the WHO, and of course the Biden administration, like every other disastrous decision they made, reversed those policies when the Biden-Harris administration got in charge. Well, later this week, the UN is going to hold a, quote, summit for the future. And they're going to produce, this is right from their website, an intergovernmentally negotiated, action-oriented pact for the future with a chapter on transforming global governance. Ascending beyond the powers being sought by its subordinate agency, the WHO, the UN is seeking even broader and more powerful authority, as you will hear a lot about today. The Biden-Harris administration apparently intends to fully support the surrender and compliance of the U.S. to the UN in these endeavors. They are aligned with the international globalists that hate America, that hate the Constitution, that hate our founders, that hate our founding Judeo-Christian principles, and they want America to become like the rest of the world. They don't want us to be subordinate to or governed by our Constitution. No, they want America to be subordinate to and governed by the UN, the World Health Assembly, and the WHO.
I don't trust any of these organizations after the pandemic. Not even a little bit. I don't trust any of these. Listen, in hindsight, what I realize is that fear is the greatest motivator to get people to do something that they should not be doing. Let me say that again for the people in the back. I know that y'all really ain't paying attention to what's happening outside of your little sphere, inside of your little work cubicle, and y'all keep talking about the wrong things that ain't got nothing to do with going on in your life. Fear is the greatest motivator to get people to do something that may or may not even be in their best interest. It's a reason. Look. Let me show you something. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to pull it up for you. Let me let this play, and then I'm going to pull it up for you.
And in fact, they intend to join with others at the UN summit this week to vote to award additional powers to the UN Secretary General. They seek to facilitate the evolution of the UN from an international cooperative body to an international governing body. These powers would be triggered by any one of a number of so-called global emergencies, whether it was a so-called climate emergency, a health emergency, a cyber emergency, or a gun violence emergency, whatever that's supposed to be, a financial emergency, or whatever they deem appropriate. And the Biden-Harris administration is in full agreement with the UN and the WHO on efforts to place us under their authority and to require such things as their international health regulations, including the surveillance of U.S. citizens, the censoring of dissenting views, and much more. The American people didn't vote for this, and they don't support this, and it's up to the people's representatives, that's us gathered here today, to have a responsibility to expose this and to reject this.
Let me show you something. Let me show you the difference. I'm going to go to Trump's website and his platform, and I'm going to show you what happens when you go to both of them. All right? If you go to Trump's website, it'll tell you, hey, listen, Trump Vance, Agenda 47, read the official Republican Party platform here, 20 core promises to make Trump great again. If you want to read more about it, you can donate, join the movement, blah, 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 right? This is the platform. This is news. He talks about the Iranian hack, all of that, all right? Events that he got coming up, rallies, all of that. And if you want to get involved and contribute, this is what you can do. You can donate, you can shop, you can do all of that, okay? Now, on the flip side, this is Kamala Harris's. We only got 47 days left to join the fight, okay? Goes down and say donate, This is on KamalaHarris.com as soon as you go. Event issues and Trump's Project 2025. I don't even know how they get away with this. I don't know how they get away with saying that this is somebody's stuff. Like, this is almost defamation. This is almost slander. We read it, so you don't have to. Learn more. They've created an entire subsection on their website dedicated to, and they look, let me show you something. It's all marketing. Roll back freedoms, national abortion ban, abolish checks and balances. They made it dark. They made it black. They put it in green. Like, oh my God, you're going to be in the matrix. It's going to remove everybody. Trump's plan to take your power, your control, and your money. Fear. Their entire platform is being ran based off of fear. And so this is how they motivate you. And this is why you then see people jump inside of the chat. This is why you see people jumping on social media. Well, what about Trump's Project 2025? This is how they got us to take the vax. This is how they got us to subject to how we was going to vote during the election. This is how we are manipulated on every single front. And now they want us to join the United Nations and letting them govern us instead of the United States Constitution and the World Health Organization. Man, you would trust the World Health Organization to govern your decisions and to help you make a decision on a regular basis. Get the hell out of here, bro. No way, no how.
The U.S. should defund the WHO again. We should withdraw from the WHO. Any agreements with the WHO or the UN should require Senate approval or disapproval. And a bipartisan House majority voted to require Senate approval just last week with Tom Tiffany's bill on the House floor. So I'm proud to be joined here by my House colleagues and others who are appropriately concerned and educated, informed, and leading on this issue. Again, this is the most important issue that's getting the least amount of attention relative to its importance and its impact on our country and on the American people. And with that, I yield to the gentleman from South Carolina, Ralph Norman.
Thank you, Congressman Good. I want to thank Frank Gaffney, Tony Perkins, all my colleagues for taking a lead role in this. As Congressman Good said, this is probably, other than our financial crisis this country's in, the most important issue to call attention to. The Summit of the Future will happen on September 22nd, 23rd. And folks, what that will do is cede America's authority, America's sovereignty.
Somebody's streaming on an Apple device.
To basically China. China is defined as a developing country. It is the number 2 economy behind America. It's not developing. It will cede our decision-making ability to China. That's what you need to know. Let me read out what the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, his policy brief 2, issued on March of 2023. I propose that the General Assembly provide the Secretary General and the United Nations system with a standing authority to convene and operationalize automatically an emergency platform in the event of a future complex global shock of sufficient scale. Guess who determines that? The World Health Organization.
Heck no. Heck no. So basically what we're talking about here, let me summarize it for the C students like myself. What they're basically saying is that whatever it is that's being declared an emergency on a mass scale, whether it's health related, pandemic related, anything, in short, my interpretation of it is we cede our freedoms over to whatever it is that the World Health Organization determines is best for us. This is what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are embracing and continuing to Join right along with the United Nations and the World Health Organization. No way, no how. I am governed by the United States Constitution, and I will exercise my freedoms and my rights as an American citizen, and I will never subject myself to the World Health Organization to determine how it is that I'm supposed to be moving in my daily life. Under no circumstance would I ever subject myself to that. Why would anybody want to be a part of that? After what y'all experienced 3.5, 4 years ago, why would you ever want to be controlled in that way? In order for them to make, basically them to recommend and make decisions on what it is that's supposed to happen to you and your family, instead of you doing so because you know what's best for your family. We seen how we was incentivized, how we was censored, and how we was forced to basically, in order for us to be able to move around and do what we wanted to do, on a state level, some states were fully locked down for a long time. Other states was able to move around, and we seen how that played out. Then they said, well, listen, if you want to come to New York and do business, if you want to go back to work, unless you want to lose your, I remember vividly, you're not going to sit here and rewrite history. I remember when they said, if you want to go back to work, for a lot of people, you are forced and you are required to get the jab. How soon we forget.
It reveals, in their definition, a possible global shock, including large-scale climate or environmental events, determined by who? The Secretary General. Future pandemics. We all endured what the problem we had with the latest virus. High-impact events, involving a biological agent, determined by who? The World Health Organization. Disruption of global flows of goods, determined by who? Not America, but the WHO under the Secretary General. Not only that, it requires a 5% payment by the United States every year of our total medical dollars spent, which are in the trillions.
What voter? Well, you know what? Let me revise that, because I know that most people ain't even informed. They have no clue what is happening. They are not, if you're not a part of the Millionaire Morning Show, listen, this is the greatest morning show on earth, because we inform, we entertain, but we got to put the medicine inside of the candy. If your friends and family, if Gam and stuff, they just continue to watch The View all day, but they need a better form of entertainment and they need to be educated, make sure you send this to your friends and family. Send everything that we do. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the Patreon, and send this to your friends and family, because we need to be informed. I believe that we don't even have to convince people whether you want to vote Democrat or Republican. I believe that once you actually inform people and give them the information, because they're depending on you to remain ignorant, and that's why they give you all of these little trinkets in front of you. I personally believe that it's very difficult for, once a person gets educated, for them to still stay ignorant. If you stay voluntarily ignorant after that, then that's up to you. It's nothing that you can do. You're not going to convince them one way or another. But when you inform people and you educate them on what's really happening out in these streets, if they still choose to stay ignorant, that's on them. That's 100% on them. Crazy, bro. Absolutely crazy.